It still made me nervous. I'm like,
Hi everyone, it's the American Anime Otaku, and I'm here with
Sarah Williams,
who is also known as Sayaka Miki from Madoka Magica.
yes.
So, have you had any, tell us what it was like voicing that character.
It was awesome because it was one of the first big roles I got in an anime, and I loved playing her because she's very similar to me. Like, someone said to me, Sarah, they put you in anime, and I'm like, yeah, that's great until like episode 7 and 8. But I loved her, and she's kind of this little precious thing to me that I'm like, I'm gonna keep you with me, my little character that I love to death.
So were you actually surprised that that right after episode 3 it suddenly got much darker?
Yeah, I watched that show before I went in to record. Like, that was homework. It's like, I'm gonna watch this. You know, I heard about it. Like, I just heard, like, oh, there's this character, you know, well, I'm not gonna spoil it. Bad stuff happens to a character, you know, and I'd heard about that. So, like, all right. So I'm even though I knew it was gonna happen, it happened, and I'm just like, so yeah, and then it just kind of, not even it just went this, it's like not even a slope, it just went, yeah, I was just like, wow, this is dark. This is not Sailor Moon anymore.
So have you seen the movies yet?
Yeah, me and Lauren Landa and Christina and Christine and Cassandra. Yeah, we all went to the premiere in Hollywood. Was it Hollywood? It was in LA.
So I haven't seen the movie before. Is it like the series where it tells the same story in a much condensed form?
Basically, it's the series kind of re-edited into a shorter-ish time slot. But unlike some things that are just like, yay, slice, we just put this, here guys, watch the movie, that's basically the series all over again. They basically, they redid a lot of backgrounds, a lot of, like, the buildings and stuff you see is a lot more intricate. Like, the restaurant scene in the very first episode is, like, it looks like a completely different restaurant. Like, the gates on the top of the school where they hang out sometimes, like, the bars on the gates are way more intricate. They added a few new scenes, like there's new transformation sequences, which are pretty sweet looking, and there's a new scene for Homura that sort of is supposed to be a transition into the events of episode 10, because otherwise you're like, wait, what's going on? Without spoiling, but if you've seen it, you know what I mean. But so yeah, so it was like they put some work into it. It was pretty sweet.
So, do you have any funny stories behind the mic while you were doing that?
Yeah, sort of like, I loved when we got to do outtakes because I didn't know we were doing outtakes, and then someone mentioned to me, like, they're saving some of the slip-ups for outtakes, and I was like, oh man, I want to come up with something good, but I don't want to mess up, you know, the time and the flow, and it's like, we gotta work. But I remember, sadly it never got used, but I remember on a part, when I flubbed a line and my character was looking at Kyubey and I flubbed the line, I was like, and then I just came out with, get back in your Pokemon.
Get back in your Pokemon.
So, and sadly it never came to light. I was like, oh, they're gonna put that in that little video they showed at the conventions? No. And, you know, it was nice, because Alex was great. I loved working with Alex, and he was a fun director. And one of my favorite moments at one point is when he looks at me and he's like, Sarah, what do you think about this particular line? Is there a way you could think of saying it differently? And I'm like, oh my god, I get to contribute to the writing process. Yeah.
Interesting. So, I just lost my train of thought here. Have you ever, were you surprised on how the character turned out?
A little, yeah.
That's really depressing.
Yeah. Like, again, before I even watched the show, I'd just seen clips, and I'd seen the clip of that episode, of that fight in episode 7, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of dark. But I had no idea how bad it really got. It's like, oh my god, this is like the iceberg, and then she still has to go down and get help from there. It was it was intense.
Well, that's all the time we have right now. I'm enjoying Anime LA, and this is the Anime Otaku. Ugh. This is the American Anime Otaku signing out.
Thanks.
$3.
Huge.